Well, Nigerians daily wake up to loads of menus dished out by politicians, making it almost impossible to smell what better meal they have coming. Now, the political space is charged and burning, but the comments ignite as some douse the fire. Well, it's been going up and down like a yo-yo, and the people follow the pendulum. In all of it, we'll still try to understand and pin it down to what these have become. 2019. Remember, it keeps brewing and pouring out. Stove on, it's cooking time. It's Political Stew. I'm Sulaiman Aliyu. Welcome. Today we leave the kitchen to elsewhere to meet two very important Nigerians to discuss, well, what's happening in the polity. Well, it looks like the acting president loves the magic of Tuesdays. We'll recall it was only last Tuesday he fired Lawal Daura, the former DSS boss. It's another Tuesday today. No one's been fired, but an order has been issued. Professor Yemi Osinbajo has ordered the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to conduct a strict overhauling of the Swift Anti-Robbery Squad SARS. Now, this unit has been in the news space, oozing like burnt porridge dipped in soured milkshake. Don't get me wrong, I love milkshake, but not when it's soured. Well, SARS, a department of the police in Nigeria, has been menacing and high-handed in approach, usually arresting innocent Nigerians and impinging on the rights of the populace and rights of individuals as humans. What God help you if you're a guy sporting an earring or even dreadlocks. That's enough for SARS. Well, the IGP has full plate now, and we better let him deal with it. Now, will the police chief obey the acting president on this? Don't forget, we still can't remember, President Buhari, or rather forget when President Buhari issued an instruction to the big boss to move to Benue. As they say, let's play the wait and see game. Now, party politics is dominating the space. You can watch us live online on the go at TVC News, TVC News TV /live streaming. We're also live on YouTube, TVC News Nigeria Live, and on youtube.com/Political Stew. You can also catch all the past shows on our website, politicalstewng.com. You can also watch us live on Facebook as we go. Now, quite a lot has been happening, and we did leave the kitchen to speak with two Nigerians. And I'm so excited because today we'll be having a lady who will be speaking with us on what it is like to be in politics. But first, we have this talk about what's been happening, specifically what we saw about the invasion or otherwise, well, as investigations are still ongoing concerning what we saw with the hooded men moving into the Nigerian National Assembly and what has happened so far, and the back and forth politics within the APC, whether someone should leave or someone shouldn't be impeached or not. We have all of that. And again, the big moment of 2019, who will the losers or winners be? Some politicians are already having a peep of what exactly it is like. But I had a sit down with a man who was the minority leader in Nigeria's House of Representatives back in the day. And he's also a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Farouk Adamu Aliyu. And this was what we had. Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu joins us on Political Stew. Good to have you join us.
Thank you, viewers.
A whole lot has been happening, very frankly, and your party seemed to have witnessed a huge, form of movement, some kind of exodus from your party towards the PDP. Sitting, down and looking back at what transpired, do you think that what happened would have been stopped?
Well, I don't think it could have been stopped for so many reasons. One, unfortunately, politicians were very selfish. You could see these defections take place only when elections are about to happen. And it happened to us also. I mean, we, APC, gained in 2014 when people left PDP to join APC. But the difference between that time and this time, it's most of the people that left PDP to join us, probably in their thinking that it was going to be business as usual. Now, joining APC with the president in Buhari, things are not done normally. I mean, normal way of doing things in this country. So a lot of them was nothing out of ideology or anything out of fundamental difference, rather personal differences. Most of the people that left, like members of National Assembly, you could find out that they have issues in their states, local issues, in some cases. Like some of the senators have issues with the governors. So the president has nothing to do with it, or at the national level. In some instances, like in the case of the Senate president, it was more personal. And he was accused, taken to court, and then came out clean. So while the process was going on, he took it personal that the government was after him. So he didn't have anything to do, he will not have anything to do with the government and the party again.
You didn't think that the government was truly after him then?
No.
Because a lot of people would have thought that going by the politicking, that happened, that saw his emergence as the Senate president, as well as other leaders of the party or leadership positions of the National Assembly. Many thought that he went against maybe an unwritten rule or agreement of your party, and your party felt, shortchanged and hurt to the extent that they had to move in with all of its agencies to really bring him down.
You see, these things are subjective. You see, unfortunately, how do you then prosecute people? How do you check whether things are right or wrong? Now, just because he went against the party and there are some allegations against him, I mean, the government needs to do the necessary. And if it's a matter of politicking, to do things for political reasons, probably some of these things couldn't have happened. But we have a president who doesn't care. Actually, the people matter to him, the government, the system. So if anybody thinks that because of politicking, just like now people are moving, it is not a good thing. We're not happy. But then if certain things, they want certain things to be done based on politicking, that can never happen with Buhari. And the people of Nigeria should bear witness. Are these people moving out subtly because things are done fundamentally wrong? Or are they moving out, one, because of maybe just when they came in thinking that when they came into APC, we will win election. We did. So also now they are moving thinking that they will win election. Time will tell. And we're in democracy. Nigerian public should be able to decide. If Nigerians, in the wisdom of the people of this country, believe that, look, these guys who moved out are the right people to be followed, so be it. It's democracy.
Leading up to this election, because I was also in the thick of things, covering, every bit of this process, 2014 before we got to 2015, you would have felt the pulse of the people. A lot of people actually truly wanted some kind of change. They wanted to see a change. And a lot of people were rooting for the president at that point in time. But it doesn't seem as if we're getting that same pulse from the people now as we move towards 2019.
I totally agree with you. The pulse is not the same, but it's not fundamentally different. Yes, there is no much support, for the president like before, and I can also understand. People do not believe or understand that why should things be done this way. And now, mark you, this government came into being when everything went bad. So for you to get things back into the right direction, you have to go through these processes. Recession, inflation, oil prices, so many things that were wrong. Now this government is trying to, look, whoever comes, would have to do certain decisions that this government has taken. So, as I said, back to the people. The people are supposed to decide. If Nigerians think that we should go back to the days of so much corruption, go back to the days of business as usual, go back to the days when you get contracts without tendering for them.
But again, sorry again, it isn't much of going back to the days of, you know, corruption, if there were ever a time like that. What the people felt at a point in time, they wanted to see some kind of speed in, you know, in action from President Buhari. They had, even those who never saw President Buhari while he was a military head of state, they read about him and they were expecting to see the no-nonsense, you know, leader, which ultimately they never saw. And I'll give you instances where people, you know, names of people in his cabinet were mentioned. You remember the case of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation at that point in time, and everyone thought he was going to move swiftly and call for some kind of investigation. But it lingered for a long time, to the extent that it rubbed off on some good credit of the president. That's what a lot of people are saying at this point in time.
But he's been investigated. I mean, probably not at the speed at which people would want. But then, look, you don't do things wrong. You have to take things systematically to ensure that you do it correctly. So that you look at most of the cases that EFCC is losing because of this kind of perception that, look, people should be arrested, people should be taken to court, and you do this thing in a haste and go and lose the case in the long run. So I don't blame the government for taking things easy, taking things slowly to ensure they get things right. So, I mean, we call on the people to be patient. Of course, that things cannot happen the way it used to happen. People cannot be protected because they know somebody. So Babachir has not been protected. Absolutely. He's out now and he's being investigated. I'm sure he's going to be prosecuted as well. You
know, when news emanate, you know, concerning the sacked Director General of the DSS. Remember, this is not the first time. A lot of people have been talking about him. His name has always popped up when it comes to some issues, whether he's trying to obstruct justice, some kind of arrest of some individuals. And sometimes you would think that these are just mere rumors. But now that finally he's out of the way, we're getting to see that investigations are on concerning his matter. Before we get to the law court, you just realize that even though there is a leaked document from the police concerning its hasty sort of investigation, there's some sort of iota of, you know, truth in what people have been saying about the man who occupied that office at that time. Shouldn't this then mean that the government should take a pause, that, you know, look back and say there are so many other people that have been, or few people rather, that have been mentioned within our government, that we should now take, you know, a critical look into the activities and see if these people can be brought before, you know, justice.
If everything you said is true, is it not the same government that has sacked him? Is it not the same government?
If we hadn't seen what we saw, you know, that was just in our face, you know, all before the international community and the world. If that hadn't happened, do you think that anyone would have actually called to question Mr. Lawal Daura?
Absolutely. Because, look, nothing has happened to show that he did these things deliberately. And if the government could condone him to this level, to this much, I am sure the government, I don't have all the facts, I'm sure the people in the president and the vice president know that he was doing the right thing. But when he crossed the line, he was fired by the same government. So people should understand that, look, anybody that crosses the line, there will be no fear, no favor.
What would you expect the president to have done in, you know, other cases of other people that have been mentioned? Because now we're moving towards 2019, and these are issues that definitely will make for, you know, debates as we move towards 2019 election. You've been a great supporter of President Buhari. What are those things that you thought you would have loved to see as we move towards 2019, especially in the fight against corruption?
Well, in the fight against corruption, everything to continue the way it is doing, but
to continue the way it is.
Yeah, but I'm coming.
Slow.
But the haste in taking people to court, or what I think the anti-corruption agencies are doing wrong, it's by probing people on the pages of newspaper. You go, like EFCC is going to invade somewhere, they carry media along with them. So by the time, you know, you are invited, everybody knows that you are invited, and probably what they are thinking of you is wrong. So I think the fight against corruption should be more meticulous. They should do their research. They should be sure before going public. That should be done. But in terms of whether it's slow or fast, you also have to understand it's not just the government. You have the judiciary. These things have to go through processes. And I can remember the case of Ojikalu that lingered for 12 years. When it went to Supreme Court, the Supreme Court said it should go back to High Court. So it started de novo. And you know this, and he filed no case submission, which was just dismissed about 2-3 weeks ago. So you understand, look, the system also needs to be rejuvenated. The judiciary also needs to come on board. The public also, the public who try to praise us when we get corrupt things, when we are corrupt, when we bring money, when we steal money, the elites, the masses also need to show us that, look, this is ill-gotten wealth. You should not be held in public. You should not, when you go to your village with things that you can't account for, people should not hail you. So these kind of things, I mean, it's a whole hog. The whole community, the society need to join the government in the fight against corruption.
Now let's look at your political party and what has happened. We've seen the movement. We just talked about that at the beginning. And one man continues, to stand out in all of this talk concerning 2019, and that's the Senate President. It would seem that that's a very big loss to the APC. Do you think your party is handling his movement to the PDP pretty well, knowing full well that your party has been about him leaving that seat, vacating the seat or the position of the Senate President, or the story of him being impeached? It's as if that's the big agenda for the APC at this point in time.
One, let me also tell you and the public that, look, we in APC are not happy that he and others are moving. No, absolutely no. One person, each one of them they all have their supporters. So it's not nice they're leaving. But then what do? It's days of politicking. If they want to go, they can, anybody who wants to go can go. But then as a party, for the Senate President, by name, yes, but I can tell you I'm from Jigawa State. The Senate President has probably 1 or 2 people there. So in terms of national movement, maybe chunk part of people in Kwara State have moved out, which is one state. It's bad, it's not nice, but at the same time, I think we can do with the party can do with his movement. And
it's not that significant.
No,
that's what you mean.
Absolutely, absolutely, it's not. But each vote counts. Each vote counts. But at the same time, as I said, what do we do? What do you do when he has made up his mind? He's been persecuted. That's what he thinks. So since he's being persecuted, allegedly, he will leave. So let him go. But then I am also 100% with the party. He should be impeached. If he can't be impeached, he should be honorable enough. Just the way Akpabio did. Akpabio was leaving the party.
On what ground would you want him to be impeached?
Because he has left the party that brought him to power to even become Senate President.
Once a lawmaker, always a lawmaker. You were there before. And
absolutely. I was there before him.
Yes, absolutely. And you
I was a principal officer before him.
And you witnessed what happened. I'm going to give you President now, the President Governor of Sokoto State, when he did move, Right Honorable Aminu Tambo, when he did move, your party rejoiced and they welcomed him with open arms.
Exactly.
They never asked him to vacate his seat at that point in time.
It's the fault of PDP by not pushing. We in APC, we think what they did is wrong, and in fact, it's unconstitutional.
And you think your push will be
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. We will use every legal means to ensure Bukola Saraki is removed as Senate President. We shall do everything legally possible to remove him.
Was your party part of what we saw at the National Assembly in terms of the siege? Absolutely
no. You could see that members of APC were not even there. So how could we have been part of it? And the National Assembly was not reconvened. You remember they adjourned till sometime September 25th or so. So PDP members went on their own, arranged their siege on their own. That's what we think. And whatever happened, it was arranged thing by PDP. They did what they did, and they got the media. Because look, the way the media were there.
The PDP got the media?
Absolutely. They got everybody there.
Has that been established?
Well, We've seen most of your media, TVC, all of them. And look, the way it happened, you know it was choreographed.
But again, when the media appears somewhere else, you don't say it's choreographed, but because this is some kind of politics going on, and you put in the blame on the media.
Yeah, but you remember, yes.
We always have scoops.
Well, that's true also. But remember, I said the National Assembly was on holiday. How come you got only PDP members there? You know, in fact, 2 members of our party that almost got lynched.
Farouk, Aliyu, tell me, don't you think that the police also, in all honesty speaking objectively, should also be indicted here? If the police is meant to keep watch over the National Assembly, and some people, some hooded people invaded the National Assembly without resistance, shouldn't us be asking the police, why didn't they arrest those hooded men who came to the National Assembly?
If I were the acting president, I would have fired the IG as well. Because look, how come thugs were even at the National Assembly?
Because that's the best way to describe those people who came there.
Of course, thugs. And look, there were so many gates. The main gate, which was close to Eagle Square, how come they were not stopped there? How come they were able to get to the second gate where you do the clearance? So you know there must have been connivance by the police, by SS, and everything. And PDP, of course, that's what we're saying. Because only the PDP thugs were there, as far as we are concerned, when members of APC, 2 of them went there, not knowing what was happening. They almost got lynched. It was on TV, shown. So you know that there was no, if it was arranged by APC, no member of APC, I mean, those 2 that went, shouldn't have been there. So it was, as I said, I put it to my friends in PDP, and look, we're not enemies. We're friends, we're family. I and Tambwal are best of friends. But politically, he's left, I'm right. That's okay. I mean, so my friends and colleagues and family in PDP arranged the invasion of National Assembly by themselves.
What do you think will come out of it? Now, you just said that you expect the president to have also fired the Inspector General of Police for that breach. What else do you see? Because this is not the first time the Assembly has been invaded. First, we saw people who came and hijacked the mace. And secondly, we're going to see hooded people. Do you think that the security chiefs who are supposed to protect that institution of democracy is doing a pretty nice job?
First of all, you know, we have Sergeant at Arm. I mean, the Sergeant at Arm cannot be culpable in this because he takes care of the National Assembly as it is in there. But the police and the DSS, in particular the police, who are the overtly security agents, should be indicted before anybody. From the mace days, when the mace was, you know, taken, but nothing happened. Nobody was prosecuted, no investigation. So, I mean, I expect the government, which I think with this thing that has happened, the IG should go immediately. He should go so that the public...
What's gone wrong with your broom? I thought you were meant to be sweeping all of this
don't worry,
dirt and anomalies, yeah, but you seem to be pretty okay with the...
No, it's going to...
Have you lost the broom?
No, we have not. The broom is... in fact, it's iron broom now. I'm sure it's going to come soon, honestly. And I know the acting president is doing very well. I'm sure to ensure this thing happens. And probably by the time the president comes, you will see a lot of heads will roll.
Now let's close on this. I realize that you're also a huge supporter of your party chairman. In fact, I think you were his campaign manager,
Director General
leading up to his chairmanship.
Yes.
So far, how would you rate Adamu Soshomele's leadership of the APC?
Excellent. Because you see, we were used in APC to doing things in a certain way. Somebody new has come to bring new innovation. Of course, there are disagreements. Some people do not agree with the way he does things. Why? Because they are not used to, you know, doing new things. So he came with vibrancy, with new ideas. Of course, some members of our party are not happy. But I'm sure it goes, you know, gradually. People will understand that, look, he means well. He wants the party to win election again. And we are trying to reconcile among the states where there are issues. We have crisis. It is true, across the country. And the party under his leadership is trying to make sure each state is being, you know, harmonized so that there will not be rancor anymore.
How is the party taking his direct primary concept, which has kicked off with Osun State.
A lot of people are not happy with it because also there are some constitutional issues to that. I mean, the Electoral Act, specified that you could either do direct or indirect. And I was made to understand that you can't do both. So these things are being debated. If by the time in the next 2 weeks, our legal luminaries finish the works, a final solution will be given to the public, the members of the APC, whether it's going to be direct or indirect primaries. But most of the party faithful down the line want direct primaries because in most of the states, in fact, in all the states, the governors, at least our governors in APC, have hijacked the party. That's the truth. Every state you go, if you're fighting with the governor will edge you out. So that's why the chairman of the party is proposing direct primaries. So if a governor thinks you've taken the machinery, let the public decide who becomes a candidate.
For 2019, do you think your party will emerge victorious?
Well, 100%. The president shall, by the grace of God, come back as president. We are going to get more states, including those that have left, the 3 states that have left, Sokoto, Benue, and Kwara. We're going to get them back. By
you have a smile on your face when you mention Sokoto. What is that thing you're seeing that a lot of people haven't seen that makes, because Governor Tambuwal is a phenomenon, whether you like it or not. Love him or hate him, he seemed to have the people behind him. So why,
Sokoto?
So why do you think he's going to lose Sokoto to the APC?
You remember I told you he's my very close friend. I assure you, one day you and I are going to come back here. And in fact, I'm praying, may he be the candidate of APC at the presidential election. We shall defeat him in Tambuwal. So you and I will come back, and I'll remind you of this date, today, the 11th of August, 2018, that look, my friend Tambuwal lost in Tambuwal because Buhari is more of a phenomenal, as you're talking about. You cannot compare them at all. Look at what happened to even somebody, a supporter of Buhari, the former governor, Wamako Isokoto, when he went after Tambuwal's defection. That's not Buhari, that's Wamako. Buhari is a movement. Buhari, look, it's a train that if you come before it, you'll be crushed. And I pity and sympathize with my friend in Tambuwal. I hope he retraces his steps back.
And if he doesn't, you say he will lose that. Which other state? Because now we're looking at Kano. Don't forget that the president got a lot of votes from Kano. And now it will seem as if there is some kind of deep division in the politics of Kano State.
I agree.
Because Konkonso also is a movement. You know, the Konkonsia movement.
No, I can tell you for a fact, Konkonso is more on ground in Kano than Tambuwal is on ground in Sokoto. That's a fact. That's the truth. You cannot ignore Konkonso in Kano. But no matter what, nobody can defeat Buhari in Kano. Absolutely. Nobody. In fact, I also pray Konkonso gets the ticket of PDP. You will see Konkonso will be defeated in Kano by Buhari. Shekarau was a candidate of AMPP when he was assistant governor. Buhari defeated him there. So look, let's even not go there. I mean, our problem as a party is more of trying to reconcile perception, like in the North Central, where, like in Benue, where the governor is accusing the government in the center as sponsoring herdsmen. Unfortunate. So these are the main issues that, look, as a government, as a people, we need to reconcile our people. The masses need to understand that we, the elites, are one and the same. The governor of Benue and myself are friends. He is a Christian, I'm a Muslim. So the masses down the line need to understand, look, the poor man in Benue is the same as the poor man in Katsina. So let the masses not allow us to divide them. Let the masses understand the elites in this country are one and the same. So this is our challenge now as the party in government, to ensure that our brothers, Christian brothers in North Central, understand that, look, it's got nothing to do with Buhari because he's a Fulani man. No. But look, it's a deep-rooted problem that was inherited. And by the grace of God, we're doing everything possible to reconcile amongst the people.
Honorable Farouk, Adamu, Aliyu, many thanks for speaking with us on Political Stew.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it. So that was how my conversation went with Farouk Aliyu Adamu. But again, I did say we'll be having our very first female politician on the show. That'll be when we return. Stay with us.